And welcome to this very special meeting of the Westerville City Schools Board of Education. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We're super excited to recognize our GEM winners. So first thing I would like to do is pass it over to Nicole Marshall to call the roll.
Good evening. Mr. Bell? Dr. Nestor Baker? Mr. Velarda? Mrs. Davidson?
Here. Will you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Where's the flag?
Right there.
Oh, okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to welcome Liz Washburn, President of Parent Council, to the podium.
Thank you, President Davidson. Good evening. On behalf of Westerville Parent Council and Roush Honda, I want to welcome you to the 2019 GEM Awards celebration. We're thrilled to see so many of you here tonight to celebrate our 28 amazing winners and a very special local organization. The Great Educator Mentor Awards began 16 years ago when former Roush Honda Director of Public Relations, Terry Gordon, came to Westerville Parent Council with an idea to honor those who go above and beyond to support our students. We continue this legacy in recognizing those who exemplify this same generous spirit of giving back and making a difference in the lives of Westerville students. Roush Honda continues to be a generous sponsor of the GEM Awards and a wonderful community partner. We look forward to many more years of working together on this program. Our program includes each Westerville school building as they solicit nominations, and a recipient is selected by a committee made up of staff and parents in that building. In addition, a committee with district-wide representation selected 4 individuals and a business for their contributions that impact more than one building or the district as a whole. For those of you who have never experienced a GEM Awards, I'm warning you. You will leave here tonight with your hearts full and a smile on your face as you learn about the incredible impact and difference this year's recipients make across our district. A few logistics before we begin. I do want to thank the following representatives from Roush Honda that will be congratulating the award winners on stage tonight. Jill McCarran, the Roush GEM liaison, has been amazing and was responsible for so much of tonight's happenings and for the beautiful reception. And Sam Hawley for being here as well to help us with the awards. They will be joined by the members of the Westerville Board of Education and the District Executive Leadership Team, who we thank for inviting us to share your meeting tonight. To our honorees, as your name is called, please come up the stage using the stairs here on your left. While one of our students begins reading a brief essay describing your contributions to our schools, please make your way to receive your award and pause for a photo on the X on the stage and walk across to accept the congratulations of our Roush Honda representatives in the Board of Education. You'll exit down the stairs to your right, and as you return to your seat, you will also pick up your certificate and a copy of your nomination. At the conclusion of the program tonight, please come back on stage for a group photo. Last but not least, a number of our students are here tonight and will come to the podium to share with you what makes our award winners true gems in the eyes of our community. I want to thank each and every one of you for making time to share this special night with us. They are Catherine Blaze, Lily Venemeyer, Leah McMahon, Evan Pate, Harry Hutto, Nick Tenner, Layla Hamer, Avery Biddlestone, Riley Jennings, Kendall Bell, and Sydney Bell. And with that, let's go ahead and begin.
Hi, my name is Catherine Blaze, and I'm a sophomore at Westerville South. Our first GEM Award tonight is presented to Taylor Feitner, a preschool teacher at our Early Learning Center. Mrs. Feitner was nominated by parent Tiffany Arnold because she has gone above and beyond to make sure the Arnold's daughter, Viviana, could attend preschool and have a great experience. In March of 2018, Viv was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. The Arnolds wondered how she would live a normal life outside of their care because anyone who cared for their daughter would have to have special training in caring for someone with type 1 diabetes. Thankfully, Mrs. Feitner not only stepped up to the task, but has exceeded their hopes. Before school started this fall, Mrs. Feitner and the school nurse met with the Arnolds to get trained on how they manage Viv's diabetes. She read literature they sent ahead of the meeting and was prepared to discuss. Viv's blood sugar changes often and requires constant monitoring. This monitoring requires that Mrs. Feitner is with her phone within 20 feet of Viv at all times. Mrs. Feitner also had to learn how to check Viv's blood sugar by poking her finger and how to read the numbers that are sent from a device on Viv's arm to her phone and what to do if Viv's blood sugar was dropping low. Mrs. Feitner has been quick to respond to Viv's sugar dropping low and has kept in contact almost daily with Mr. and Mrs. Arnold. This means the world to their family. Not only does Mrs. Feitner care for Viv so well, her care for all her students shows as she teaches them how to get along with their peers and prepares them for kindergarten. She is always willing to discuss concerns with parents and monitors each student's well-being. Mrs. Arnold says, "We are beyond grateful to have Mrs. Feitner in our lives. Westerville is grateful for you, Mrs. Feitner. Thank you for being a gem and touching the lives of all your students."
Hello, my name is Leah McMahon and I am in 3rd grade at Alcott Elementary. Mrs. Linda Amici is this year's GEM Award from Alcott Elementary. She was enthusiastically nominated by student Carissa King. Carissa noted several ways in which Mrs. Amici goes above and beyond to motivate her students and maintain a positive classroom environment. One thing that stood out was the contagious nature of Mrs. Amici's own positive attitude. As Carissa pointed out, Mrs. Amici demonstrates having a positive attitude even when she is in a struggle. Her students pick up her actions and then they start to become positive themselves. One clever idea that Mrs. Amici uses in her class is to do with the creation of the wall of quotes. Every week, her students are assigned a job. One of those jobs is to find a quote that means something to them. That quote is then shared and posted on the wall. By the end of the year, the students themselves have created quite a positive display. Another example of how Mrs. Amici puts on her own special way to use demonstrates when the students were learning about refugees. She made arrangements for people who speak a variety of different languages to help enrich this lesson. She often arranges for special guests to reinforce her lessons. Perhaps the most notable example of how Mrs. Amici is a gem to her students is in her honest approach to them, making sure that they are undoubtedly aware of the fact that they teach her as much as she teaches them. She takes the skills that she learns from her students and applies them to her daily life, never hesitating to let her students know how much of an impact they have on her. Carissa has been impressed by the way Mrs. Amici has achieved so many of her goals and continues to grow. My guess is that Carissa only echoes the sentiment of a great deal of her students. Thank you, Mrs. Amici, for all that you do for our students at Alcott.
Hello, my name is Avery Biddlestone from Mark Twain Elementary. I'm in 5th grade. Our next GEM Award is Danny Whalen. the evening custodian at Amherst Elementary. She was nominated by the trio of Shane Fletcher, Danielle Whitehead, and Amanda Anderson. Miss Danny, as she is affectionately known by the students and families at Amherst, is much more than an evening custodian, giving of herself in so many ways. She can often be found volunteering her time in the afternoon car line to keep the Amherst students safe. She seems to have a knack with students who may need a little extra attention or support. She will often read with the students, helping both their academic efforts as well as providing strong, positive role models. In one situation, Miss Danny worked with a second-grade student who needed some help with his reading, comprehension, and vocabulary. She was able to provide that and so much more, for she was able to develop a positive mentor relationship with the student. In this situation, the Miss Whalen worked with some third-grade boys who were struggling to make positive choices. According to their classroom teacher, Mrs. Whitehead, we are seeing positive gains, and Danny is an important part of that. She regularly participates in staff and student spirit days and school functions, displaying a strong work and ethic for all. As her nominator summed up, Amherst would just not be the same without Miss Whalen, and our dedicated colleague, role model, mentor, and friend. Thank you for setting such a fine example and making a difference, Miss Whalen.
Hello, my name is Nick Tenner. I'm a freshman at Westerville North High School. Mr. Andrew Heck nominated our next winners, the husband and wife team of Rachel and Rob Dew from Charrington Elementary. The Dews have taken Charrington's chess club over the top, exposing a staggering 90 students from the school to this strategic game. They begin the year recruiting students and parent and middle school volunteers. They have researched and implemented ways in which to teach the rules and strategies of this engaging game to Charrington students from kindergarten to 5th grade. Every Wednesday after school, you can find the Dews organizing the cafeteria to accommodate the 90 students who actively participate, setting up 50 chessboards and the player recording ranking program. As Mr. Heck points out, Mr. and Mrs. Dew have totally networked with many chess experts and leaders to make chess an amazing part of Charrington. In addition, they have created a Westerville chess tournament with 5 schools participating. Under their leadership, Charrington has been well represented at multiple tournaments across the district. This past December, Mr. and Mrs. Dew arranged for Afrocentric students to visit for a mini heads-up match. The experience is priceless for our students. The vision, execution, and continual support of chess at Charrington is a perfect example of true gems in Westerville. Thanks for shining, Mr. and Mrs. Dew.
Good evening. My name is Layla Hamill. I'm in 3rd grade at Emerson Elementary. Our next gem winner comes from Emerson Elementary. Miss Mara Clark is a 4th grade teacher and gifted intervention specialist and was nominated by Jennifer Findell. Mara has made a tremendous impact on her class. Miss Findell asked her students what activities really stood out when they were in Miss Clark's class. They included a toothpick bridges project, party, and having a class pet. Among other things, she is described as a passionate teacher, always looking for ways to enrich the education of her students with her calm demeanor and highly competent manner of teaching. One of the things that Miss Clark does for school and her students include the creation of a Girls Who Code Club, encouraging girls to explore the world of technology. As Ms. Findell explained, this is a great way to encourage girls to think about the about careers in the field, as well as to help them find a cohort of girls who share their interests and might support them. She's also arranged for volunteers to come to school during the hour of code, exposing the students to coding activities and introducing them to professionals in the IT field. She organizes Science Day, a day during which students explore a topic of their choice and then present their discoveries to parents and other students, thus developing public speaking skills and confidence. Ms. Clark also helps to administer the Student of the Month Club for Emerson, highlighting the class honorees with certificates, pictures, and coupons. In addition, Ms. Clark is the news liaison for Emerson, putting together press releases about the amazing things that the students are doing and working with the district PR team to ensure all get to see the excitement at Emerson. As you can see, Ms. Clark certainly is a very involved teacher who goes above and beyond to give the students the opportunity to learn through exposure. Ms. Findell stated that Ms. Clark does all these things unassumingly with poise and grace. She truly is a gem.
Hello, my name is Kendall Bell, and I'm an 8th grader at Genoa Middle School. Our next gem is from Faust Elementary and was nominated by Deb Ubry and Stephanie Saar. Mr. Phil West is described as a technology support liaison, reading intervention teacher, morale booster, morning greeter, printing fix-it guy, and friend to everyone at Faust. Mr. West has worked in the school system for over 30 years and joined the Faust team a few years ago, embarking on a new career, teaching students in kindergarten through 3rd grade to read. His enthusiasm has translated into providing students excitement for an activity that a child has previously felt was too difficult or beyond the scope of their abilities, says his nominators. In order to accomplish this, Mr. West has had to carve out time in his already packed schedule and selflessly utilize his planning periods to support his students' efforts. The nomination goes on to express that when his positive voice enters the classroom, the children jump up to grab their book in a baggies as fast as they can and to go to their fun reading class. Many of the ESL students lack the support at home for reading due to a second language. Mr. West ensures that extra volunteers and 5th grade helpers work with those students during the day so that they can gain the skills necessary for success. As the nominators write, Mr. West shares empathy with our families and wants our students to feel proud of their reading gains. Not only does Mr. West give all his students, the staff at Faust give his all to his students, the staff at Faust gain from his presence as well. He is consistently called upon to help out with the glitches with computers and projectors. He often does these fixes during his lunch and before and after school. His nominators state, every school needs a Phil West to be their reading motivator for students. You most definitely are a gem, Mr. West.
Hello, my name is Sydney Bell, and I'm a sophomore at Westerville Central High School. Miss Kelly Balaz is our next gem winner. She is a 2nd grade teacher at Hamby Elementary and was nominated by parent Kristen Poe. Miss Poe noted that Miss Balaz has the ability to be in tune with each of her students' individual learning styles and adapts to meet those needs. She is able to balance those students who may be intellectually gifted, yet have emotional and social challenges. That is truly a gift to master. Ms. Balaz maintains a fantastic communication relationship with her students' families. She will often ensure that the parents are well informed about the daily activities, not only of the class, but of the individual student. This type of open communication fosters a very welcoming environment in which parents can easily trust Ms. Balaz to handle the specific needs of their children. Ms. Poe reached out to other parents in the class for input with this nomination, and they raved about Ms. Balaz's excellent skills. One parent indicated that it never seems like a student gets lost in her class, no matter the class size. Another parent who also volunteers in the class said Ms. Balaz is a passionate, caring adult who not only expands the minds of her students, but also takes the time to help them grow as a person. She is an educator who walks into the classroom each morning with the goal of motivating, inspiring, and nurturing the minds and hearts of the children in her care. These very talents speak to the heart of a gem. Thank you, Ms. Balaz, for making such a difference to the families and students at Hamby.
Hello, my name is Harry Hutto, and I am a 7th grader at Walnut Springs Middle School. Rebecca Limes is our next Gym Award winner for Hawthorne Elementary, where she is a teacher and was a teacher nominated by Hawthorne parent Monica Rusnek. The positive impact that Miss Limes has had on her students was clear in the nomination. Not only has she turned the Rusnek's daughter's life around and eliminating the tears in the family over struggles with reading, the demonstrations the same kind of dedication and a can-do attitude with 24 others in her class. Mrs. Limes has created Bookworms, a book club for first and second graders. The young kids are so excited to participate in this wonderful and fun activity. And Mrs. Rusnek says once again she includes her dedication to reading for her students. Her influence doesn't stop after second grade. She is a coach for Girls on the Run. The young girls are encouraged to develop self-respect and a healthy lifestyle. They attend bi-weekly practices, following by the big race. The result of this early exposure to these special life skills is priceless and can mean so much to the development of confidence in these girls. Mrs. Rusnek noted, though Mrs. Limes has set a benchmark to take Hawthorne Elementary to new heights. Through her dedication, she always finds another avenue to explore when the first one doesn't work for a student. Mrs. Limes certainly shows all of the qualities that make her shine. She is a gem for Hawthorne and their families.
Our next gem comes from Huber Ridge Elementary. Becky Wallace, one of the parents at Huber Ridge, nominated Patty Ryther, an instructional aide for the school. Miss Ryther is one of the first smiles the children see at school in the morning. The word smile is being used for a reason, for as Miss Wallace pointed out, she greets the students every day with a huge smile on her face. She says hello to each child that walks into the school and often jokes with them. The kids walk away from the interaction with her with a smile on their face. That's a great way to start their school day. Miss Ryther heads up the school crossing guard program, organizing the schedules and ensuring that the children have what they need to safety and responsibly do their job. She reached out to the school's PTA to successfully advocate for some new crossing guard ponchos. She makes sure that the children who ride the daycare bus are safely transported, standing outside with them despite the weather. Miss Ryther is often seen at school events cheering on those who receive awards and actively participating, whenever and wherever that needed. She ensures that the kids have all the things they need as they wait for pickup, often prompting them with questions about their belongings and making sure that they follow the rules. She holds the little hands of those who are upset, cheering them up. It's apparent that Miss Wallace has recognized just how much Miss Ryther means to the kids and families at Huber Ridge, making a positive daily impact on starting their day right, and Miss Wallace puts it, she sends them home the same way she welcomes them to school, with a smile on her face. Thanks for all that you do to make a difference, Miss Ryther.
Our next GEM recipient is the Superstar Secretary from Longfellow, Mary Zarlin. She was nominated by the entire staff at the school. They say her daily positive impact on Longfellow students, families, and staff is monumental. Apparently, she is famous for homemade cinnamon rolls, but that is not the reason they nominated her. The staff was asked to share examples of just why Miss Zolly is so deserving of this award and how she goes above and beyond her secretarial duties. She is a Longfellow gem for not just one or even two ways. There are a million little things she does for everyone in our building. Miss Zolly greets everyone with a smile on her face, setting a positive tone for the entire interaction. The students especially benefit from this attitude as she passes on words of encouragement that make them feel special and important. As can often happen with younger students, sometimes a kindergarten student needs a calm, quiet space to collect themselves. They may find themselves in Miss Mary's thinking chair. Her soft demeanor and calm influence allows them a safe place for reflection and encouragement. Students are not the only beneficiaries of Miss Zolly's talent. As the staff noted, she is fantastic with anxious parents sending their child to school for the first time. She knows just what to say in her calm voice, followed by a sweet little chuckle to ease anxiety. Miss Zolly is extremely organized and efficient in all ways. She lives in the solution, not the problem, using her intuition and creativity to tackle anything that is thrown her way, from teachers who call in sick to teachers who get sick during the day to absolutely anyone in the Longfellow families who needs her assistance. One teacher stated, "Mary's impact on my ability to teach starts far before I even enter the building. She has often solved several problems, acted to solve a potential problem, and usually has done one or two or more acts of kindness before we even walk through the doors." Longfellow is certainly proud of their shining star, and rightfully so, as they aptly note, Longfellow is a better place because you are with us. Thanks, Miss Zolly.
The entire staff at Mark Twain Elementary came together to nominate our next GEM Award, Miss Serena Cassell, the school counselor. Miss Cassell serves the students and families at Mark Twain and in an exceptional manner. She has the unique ability to meet the diverse needs of our students at Mark Twain. Reads the nomination. She builds relationships with students that help them gain confidence, regulate their emotions, increase stamina, and be more successful. She reaches out to parents and community services to find answers to difficult questions in order to get the best possible solution for accentuating circumstances that occur. As you may imagine, Ms. Cassell has to deal with a number of situations daily. She always remains positive and upbeat, providing a great role model for both students and staff. The staff and students trust her, and her calming demeanor makes everyone feel welcome and comfortable around her. Staff members feel they are supported, that she has their backs, and the students feel heard and valued. That makes quite a balance to maintain, yet she manages it with style. She is constantly looking for ways to further improve and grow, never hesitating to learn and implement new ideas and strategies. She is quick to support the child in crisis and works to build a team to address all the child's needs with urgency, all with making a school experience a positive and pleasant place to be for a student in mind. Ms. Cassell is very aware of and connected to the outside agencies to connect our families and support mental health issues, and at Mark Twain and a positive, proactive leader. Bottom line, the kids and families and staff at Mark Twain think she's amazing. Thank you for all your wonderful contributions to the Mark Twain family.
My name is Evan Pate. I'm in 6th grade at Walnut Springs Middle School. Mrs. Courtney Williams, a volunteer at McVeigh Elementary, is our next GEM winner. She was nominated by parent Stephanie Cunningham. As Mrs. Cunningham aptly pointed out in her nomination, Mrs. Williams wears many hats at McVeigh. She is the PTA president, a teacher, cafeteria and recess helper, puppeteer, motivator, story maker, and landscaper. Mrs. Williams spends a lot of her time beautifying the grounds of McVeigh, making it more welcoming to the students and families. On rainy or snowy mornings, she can be found greeting the students at the door, making sure that they wipe their feet dry to avoid falls. She has recently surprised the kids by wearing a smiley face emoji costume. Mrs. Williams performed a memorable original puppet play to inspire the children during the past year's walkathon, creatively motivating the kids to get pledges and participate. She made sure that each and every student who raised $100 or more got to enjoy the Pizza Party Award, including a child that required pizza from another establishment due to dietary issues. In addition, Mrs. Williams held a special pizza party for a young girl who missed the original. Of course, it had to be accompanied by a special performance of the puppets. She organized a snowstorm of kindness, a school-wide effort to help with the loss for students affected by 2 natural disasters. They raised money for the Red Cross and sent the kids encouraging snowflakes of friendship, letting the affected students know that their new friends were there to help. An awesome exercise in kindness and compassion. Courtney is a real gem, and our school is a better place because of her. Way to go, Mrs. Williams.
Our next gem comes from Point View Elementary, where she serves as the PTA treasurer. Summer Spencer was nominated for this award by volunteers Sarah Rill and teacher Tanya Mariscal. It has been a transitional year for the PTA at Point View, as most of the previous board has moved on and new people have taken their place. This first year as a board member can be a daunting and overwhelming task, complete with a lot of extra work to learn the duties at hand. As treasurer, Miss Spencer is responsible for the time-consuming and vital task of the maintaining good financial records, paying dues in the proper forms with the IRS, not to mention the monthly duties of the record keeping involved in running a PTA. She did these things with ease and has contributed so much more. She is responsible for the Box Top program at Point View, headed up by a new law review committee, organized all of the dine-out nights and many of the family fun events and fundraisers after school. As Mrs. Real stated, she is amazing. She is always at the school volunteering her time for the book fair, holiday shop, and making copies for various events. What event that showcased just how Miss Spencer is able to contribute with poise and grace was highlighted in Mrs. Real's nomination. Point View was able to offer their students the opportunity to participate in COSI on Wheels, which, by the way, Miss Spencer also helped to organize, and Miss Real took off note of how Miss Spencer was able to handle the volume of students students visiting each station. Rather than getting overwhelmed, Miss Spencer smoothly handled the crowd. She was so organized and patient with all the students. As Miss Mariscal stated, without her, I don't know whether we would still have a PTA in our building. In noting the Miss Spencer is always thinking about how she can help the students and staff at Point View, despite having 3 small children and a busy life outside of PTA. Miss Spencer has certainly made a positive difference at Point View. Holding the PTA together and functioning PTA really supports students in so many ways. She is just a prime example of what just a GEM winner is.
My name is Lily Venemeyer. I am at Heritage Middle School and I'm in 7th grade. Mrs. Carrie Tucker, a 4th grade teacher from Robert Frost, is our next GEM winner. She was proudly nominated by Lucy Mum, one of her students, as well as by Megan Venemeyer, Ryan Mum, and Stephanie Robinette. It is apparent by the nominations that Mrs. Tucker tailors her teaching styles to the individual student, assessing how they will best learn and be successful. Luciana noted how terrific Mrs. Tucker was with her and how much support she provided. They definitely have a strong connection. That connection with the individual student was also mentioned by Mrs. Venemeyer, who stated that Mrs. Tucker takes great care in alleviating her students' stress and anxieties. Her classroom is a safe place where students can talk about any worries at any time. Parent Ryan Mum noted that she always has the best interest of every single student in mind, managing to keep all of their needs organized. Ms. Robinette spoke of Mrs. Tucker's abilities to find a hook and encourage interest through literacy and creative writing. She encourages her students to volunteer and definitely leads by example. You can find her at most PTA meetings as she actively supports the PTA at Robert Frost and at school functions. She helps with the after-school pickup, making sure that the students get home safely. Mrs. Tucker also has made a strong connection with the families. As Mrs. Venemeyer pointed out, I feel I have a huge resource in my corner, one who is always rooting for my child and who takes my concerns to heart. Her compassion, her generosity of spirit, her dedication to her students and families, and Robert Frost. This is the heart of the GEM. Thank you, Mrs. Tucker.
My name is Riley. I am in 7th grade and I go to Blendon Middle School. Patty Grimes is our next GEM winner, a volunteer at Whittier Elementary who is proudly nominated by teacher Sherry Maddox. Miss Maddox says that having Mrs. Grimes' participation is like having my very own assistant. She goes over math facts with the students, records the ones they've mastered on Class Dojo, and keeps track of the ones that still need some attention, and then passes out the brag bags as the students master the different levels. Miss Maddox never has to worry about it because she is phenomenal. She plans and executes the classroom parties and is always willing to help a student in need. Not only does Miss Maddox and her students benefit from Miss Grimes' dedication, she spreads the love throughout the school. She also volunteers in 2 other 2nd grade classrooms and a 4th grade classroom. She also makes copies for any teacher who might need the support coming into the school every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, as well as any other time during which she might be of service. Miss Grimes is an active member of the PTA and volunteers her time for the book fair, field day, walkathon, and basically any activity that is school-related. As Miss Maddox noted, there isn't anything that Patty won't do in order to help us out. It's clear that Miss Grimes is very visible and impactful presence in the school. Miss Maddox summed it up. The students love her. The teachers love her. The parents love her. In my 14 years of teaching, I have never had a parent who goes above and beyond to this degree. Way to make a difference, Miss Grimes.
Principal Victoria Hazlitt wrote the nomination for Wilder's GEM, Mrs. Cynthia Villardo. Mrs. Villardo, or Mama Villardo, as she is affectionately known by staff, is a secretary at Wilder. Secretaries often are the ambassadors for the school and one of the first people with whom one comes into contact. They can really set the tone for the whole experience. Mrs. Villardo is a perfect person to provide a positive experience for all guests, staff, and students. Hospitality and kindness are two traits shared generously by Mrs. Villardo. Principal Hazlitt noted that never does she allow her desk to become a barrier in building relationships with students and their families. She continues, she greets the students who come to the office by coming around her desk and with a cheerful smile bends down to the child's level while asking how she can be of help. She treats every student with the same love and compassion as if they were her own. She greets visitors to the school with the same level of warmth and hospitality, always making them feel welcome at Wilder. She often can be found offering tours of the school to new families or escorting visitors to their location. Again, that desk is not a barrier. Mrs. Villardo immerses herself in the school community, regularly attending school events outside the regular school day. This past summer, she was seen participating alongside Wilder families and staff at the Wilder Summer Book Drop-Off, staying well into the evening to assist. After the school day and her work day has ended, one can quite often find her completing the paperwork that she put aside to attend to people and situations that were more pressing. As Principal Hazlitt concluded, Mrs. Villardo is living evidence of her motto, at Wilder, family matters. A real example of a true gem. Thanks, Mrs. Villardo.
Miss Kelsey Cedars, a teacher and success coach, is the Gem winner at Blendon Middle School. She was nominated by Blendon parent Tina Gray. Miss Cedars is an English and language arts teacher and success coach helping students struggling with the transition to middle school. She has been assigned as a success coach for Miss Gray's son, Luke, and has been his go-to in person and confident since 6th grade. Miss Gray says that Miss Cedars has provided unconditional support and strength and understanding not only for Luke but for us as well. She's a safe haven for students but gives tough love when needed and keeps them on track. Mrs. Cedars provides both academic and emotional support for students. She works with Luke and other students having issues by talking them through things and helping them come up with resolutions so they can achieve more positive outcomes. Working with Luke, Miss Cedars has helped to place him with teachers and classes to place him in the best possible scenario to be successful. Mrs. Gray states, it truly takes a village to raise a child, and we don't know where Luke would be without Mrs. Cedars. Mrs. Cedars communicates with her students and parents on a regular basis and is always willing to do what is necessary to help them. Whether they are falling behind on schoolwork, struggling with something, or having a fantastic week, she is there for her students. In addition, Mrs. Cedars shows her support outside of school by attending not only Luke's golf matches, but other student events and activities as well. Mrs. Cedars has been a blessing for Luke and his family, and Blendon Middle School is a better place because of her. She truly cares about each one of her students, and therefore, Miss Cedars is a gem for Blendon Middle School. Thank you, Mrs. Cedars.
Nominated by 8th grade teachers, Mrs. Shannon McCreary is the gem for Genoa Middle School. She is very deserving of a GEM award as she travels between schools, has multiple preps, teaches 2 content areas and grades, advises 2 clubs, and organizes the 8th grade DC trip, all with a positive attitude. She creates strong, positive relationships with students at Genoa. Mrs. McCreary is one of the most well-liked teachers at Genoa, and students love her class, according to her fellow teachers. Students love her class because she makes her students feel important, takes great pride in her students' efforts and work, learns great details about her students with great interest, and fosters a positive relationship with their parents. The lasting bond she creates with her students is evident in the fact that she is asked each year to give diplomas to past students at high school graduation. Actively involved in the educational success of every student, Mrs. McCreary's upbeat personality and passion for students emanates in her teaching and everything she does. She goes above and beyond by creating lessons that are student-directed and driven and addressing all learning styles. Walking into her classroom, you will find students that are engaged and working at their own individual pace. Mrs. McCreary takes on so many extra roles outside of the classroom that help to make Genoa Middle School great. These roles include running the 8th grade DC trip, yearbook, National Junior Honor Society, and planning year-end activities. She does not just take on these responsibilities, but makes them better and improves them each year. She is very inclusive of a wide variety of students, gets to know her students, and works tirelessly to create experiences for her students that are valuable and allow them to grow as individuals. The Genoa Yearbook, NJHS, and the students involved thrive because of her commitment and involvement. Passionate about history and government, Mrs. McCreary creates an incredible experience for 8th graders on the DC trip and makes sure that they are exposed to all DC has to offer. Her support and involvement with the students last day of the school ensures that it is fun, engaging, and invaluable experience. Mrs. McCreary is definitely a Genoa gem because she does so much for her students and families at Genoa.
Nominated by parent Marcia Siefker and student Jeffrey Siefker, Mr. Dwight Back is the gem for Heritage Middle School. He has made a positive impact on his engineering and design students, and his enthusiasm and love for curriculum content is infectious. Mr. Back is extremely dedicated and gives a large amount of his personal time to his students and families. Jeffrey Siefker was in Mr. Back's engineering design class in 2017/2018 and continues to work with him as a part of the Heritage Middle School Future City team. During the school year, Mr. Back allowed Jeffrey and others to eat in his classroom and work with a 3D printer and engineering tools. Eating, working, and mentoring other students in Mr. Back's classroom during lunchtime was a godsend and helped Jeffrey to develop a positive relationship with an adult mentor and strengthen his self-concept/self-esteem. By helping other students, Mr. Back's actions help young people grow up healthy, caring, and responsible by giving them useful roles and providing a caring, encouraging environment at school. Mr. Back spends countless hours of his personal time to help Jeffrey and other Future City teams create a working electric 3D model of a gyroscope, which took extreme patience. The 3D printer didn't always cooperate, and numerous attempts to fine-tune the size and shape. Mr. Back persevered, and in the process, Jeffrey and fellow students learned and developed engineering concepts. They learned to really dig in and persist and see a project to completion. Very valuable life lessons and memories result that Jeffrey and fellow students will cherish for the rest of their lives. There are no words to truly express our gratitude to Mr. Back for his time, dedication, love for learning, expertise, mentorship, and generosity, says the Siefkers. Mr. Back is truly a gem to Jeffrey, Mrs. Siefker, and the Heritage Middle School.
Our next Gym Award winner comes from Walnut Springs. Michael Albertini was nominated by parents Don Pooster, Aaron Bopp, and Ed Mueller. He is a coach for both the Walnut Springs football team and wrestling team. As Mr. Mueller pointed out, the coach is in a unique position to reach your child in a way that you cannot. You may preach the right message at home, but the message of your child's coach will be far louder and clearer than you could possibly dream of. He went on to express various valuable ways in which Coach Albertini has excelled in teaching the kids the very valuable life skills, not just the game-winning techniques. Coach Albertini has made a lasting and positive influence on both those that he coaches and their families. All three nominations noted that he stresses that his players be good humans and students, not just good players. He spends countless hours, long days, and weekends. He ensures that each and every student in his programs knows that they are an important and unique part of the team, getting to know their families and other vital details. Making his own signature on the programs, he purchased pink socks and tweaked the football helmets to add temporary pink stripe for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. For the wrestlers, they were given a hygiene kit complete with a nail trimmers and deodorant to ensure that they were prepared for the season. As a touching gesture, Coach Albertini armed the football players with blue carnations to give their mothers during the last home football game. As his wrestlers attended the Westerville North versus Westerville Central meet, as well as the OSU versus Michigan meet. Both outings were organized by Coach Albertini. He navigates the delicate balance for middle school students between academics, social, and sports. Many of his football players go on to try wrestling, just to continue to benefit from Coach Albertini's influence. Many of the players have never attempted to play either sport, yet Coach Albertini has patience with them as they learn. Mrs. Bopp states, "The lessons that he has taught my son have shaped his life." The other nominators echo the same sentiment. Thank you, Coach Albertini, for all that you have done for Walnut Springs and making all the students shine.
Westerville Central's gem winner is their Media Center Specialist, Amy Ferris. Nominated by her building principal, Tom Lanier, he expressed how much of an impact she has made in their building by making the library a destination space that is always filled with students. She provides an atmosphere for quiet studying, spaces for students' collaboration while working on group projects, and even a place for students to decompress with some reflective games and puzzles. Her impact contributes to the success of the entire Warhawk community, including staff and students. Ms. Ferris takes the extra time to collaborate with teachers on their lessons so she can help students with research. She coordinates her efforts with teachers, counselors, and administration to provide extra student support, including assisting students in making professional and creative video projects by teaching them how to use a green screen. Mr. Lanier expressed how her contributions are beyond the walls of the Media Center. Ms. Ferris has also helped start and provide continued guidance to many students' interest groups, including the Vegetarian Club, Computer Science Club, and Girls in Technology Club, and supports students who compete in Poetry Out Loud competition. She serves as a member of many committees, including the Blended Learning Committee, which improves teaching and learning strategies, and the Lead Hire Committee, that increases awareness of academic opportunities to underrepresented Central students. All of these efforts often lead to Ms. Ferris being one of the first in the building in the morning and staying late into the evening. Her care and commitment to Central students is displayed during parent-teacher conferences and prior to exams, as she keeps the library open until 8 p.m. so students have access to resources. Last summer, she partnered with a local organization to give Westerville students the opportunity to participate in Tech Corps, which teaches coding skills while the students are paid for their time in the program. As Mr. Lanier says, she is well deserving of this recognition. Thank you, Ms. Ferris, for being a Westerville gem and helping all of those Warhawks soar.
Angela Caro is the gym winner at Westerville North High School, where she is an intervention specialist in the North Point program. Ms. Caro was nominated by her fellow staff members Samantha Hollern, Vanna Abraham, and Tiffany Henderson. The North Point program at Westerville North is a program for students who have experienced trauma and have been identified to have mental health issues. These mental health issues can daily present themselves in challenging verbal and physical ways. Miss Carroll's care and concern for the students in her program is apparent for her daily interactions. Her nominators share when students say hurtful things to Miss Carroll. She looks right at them and tells them they won't be able to make her lose hope in them or push her away. She tells them and shows them that they mean something in many ways. On the students' birthdays, she will make cupcakes to bring into the class. She spent her spring break texting math problems back and forth with a student to help him figure out how to do the problems. She's often found walking the halls with students who need to vent, never complaining of the amount of walking, seeing them through anger or other emotions they are dealing with. Miss Carroll spent money out of her own pocket creating a budget incentive program so kids can earn and purchase items they want. The evidence of her impact in the lives of her students lies in the visits she receives from her former students. They often face some of their biggest struggles while in school and in the program. They are so excited to come back and share with Miss Carroll about their success, updates on their lives, a walk around the building, or asking for advice. Thank you for the ways you make students and staff at Westerville North shine, Miss Carroll. You are a sparkling gem.
This year's GEM winner from Westerville South High School is Emily Swank Kavanaugh and was nominated by a parent of a student in her IB English class. Accepting for Mrs. Swank is Ms. Julie Wilson. This parent states that Mrs. Swank's encouragement and positive impact affects all students in a positive way no matter what struggles they face. Mrs. Swank particularly made such an impact on her daughter that it changed her daughter's everyday demeanor. While working with this student and the guidance counselors, it was discovered that the student had reading comprehension difficulties and found more success listening to the books while reading. Mrs. Swank not only encouraged the efforts of the student, she went above and beyond to help research for free audiobooks online and forwarded the information to the student. Earlier in the school year, the class read Crime and Punishment. Unfortunately, a free audiobook could not be found, so Mrs. Swank took it upon herself to read most of the book aloud and record it for the student so the student could comprehend the text at a higher level. The nominator wanted us to know, as a parent, it means everything to me to know that someone, other than her parents, has her child's best interest at heart. You are a true gem, Mrs. Swank. Thank you for making such a difference and for the impact you make at Westerville South. Our first district gem winner is Mrs. Jill Beck, the executive assistant to the superintendent of Westerville Schools. She was nominated by Liz Washburn, Cherie Richards, Katie Workman, and Taylor Feitner. Liz's nomination started out with a quote from Joseph Addison. "There is no one more cherished in this world than someone who lightens the burden of another." Mrs. Beck comes to mind when that quote is read and perfectly describes the way in which her presence is felt throughout the entire district. When asked, Dr. Kellogg explained that Jill makes sure the leadership of the district is able to do its job effectively. She takes time to make sure we put our best foot forward. Liz further states that she has an amazing way of making you feel like your project is the most important one of her day, yet I know in her role this isn't the case. It must be noted that the vital role that Mrs. Beck plays in orchestrating this very GEM celebration. She has contributed countless hours to make this evening elegant, from coordinating the stage setup to arranging for the reception tables to putting together the PowerPoint presentation. On top of her abilities as the executive assistant, Mrs. Beck finds the time to engage with the students at the ELC 4 to 5 times a week, reading to them and teaching them fun facts that go along with the books and puppets that she brings along with her. They love having her visit their classes. Ms. Richards tells of the times that Mrs. Beck always remembers to follow up when someone needs that extra smile, hug, or word of encouragement. She notes that graduating students rely on Mrs. Beck to help them check their gown, makeup, or hair before they make that important walk across the stage, encouraging them to enjoy their big day. It is evident that Mrs. Beck's influence stretches far and wide in our great district. There were many people who contributed to the completion of this nomination, far too many to mention here. Mrs. Beck is a shining star in our district, and her positive impact is greatly appreciated by the buildings, families, and the students of Westerville.
Our next GEM recipient is Rachel Dykes. She was nominated by Lindsay Cady. She is the PTA president at Robert Frost and also a volunteer at Heritage. Miss Cady points out that Miss Dykes has spent countless hours every week this year ensuring that our PTA has ongoing activities and fundraisers, coordinating events and assignments with both staff and volunteers, and dealing with concerns when they arise. She works very closely with the staff and teachers at Robert Frost to make sure that all of the activities are both meaningful and fun for both parents and families at Frost. In addition, Ms. Dykes regularly volunteers in her daughter's 4th grade classroom. Ms. Dykes is also deeply invested in the success of activities at Heritage. She volunteered her time and effort to help with the students' most recent theater production, to name just one way she immerses herself in the school. Her contributions at Heritage include setting up for events, securing volunteers, and even following up to determine how the event might be better the next time around. Ms. Dykes is well known for her cheerful disposition and contagious, positive, can-do attitude. She is an extremely valuable wealth of information for the new and current families for both schools, always providing encouragement and creative problem-solving thinking. She spreads her warmth to all and is a fantastic ambassador for our district, whether she's in the hallways of schools or walking around town with her family. Thank you, Ms. Dykes, for going above and beyond for all of us and setting such a fabulous positive tone for the district. You're a shining star in our district.
Our next district GEM winner is the executive director for the Westerville Education Foundation. Colleen Moidu was collectively nominated by Liz Washburn, Krista Robertson, Stephanie Henderson, and Julie McClure. Ms. Moidu's passion for embracing this district's rich diversity and promoting all the different cultures contained in Westerville have to offer has stirred a personal conviction in her to share that richness with all. Her first attempt to gain awareness and acceptance of our immigrant and underserved population included collaborating with the Community Culture Day Committee. This labor and time-intensive effort included securing financial support, engagement, and commitment of over 25 community organizations. The result was a fabulous day of celebration on September 30th, 2018, with over 1,200 diverse participants, including Westerville students and their families, joining in the activities that helped all of us see the humanity in one another. Ms. Moidu was an integral part in coordinating the continuation of this crossing border effort, arranging for over 1,600 students from all over the district to participate in Columbus Crossing Borders Art Project, in which the similarities and differences were explored by our students through creative artwork. She spent countless hours creating and working the schedule during the exhibition, sharing her love of the project for all. Ms. Moidu was able to bring together key members of the teachers and staff throughout the district to keep the momentum going. As pointed out in her nomination, from her leadership in the fundraising efforts for the Westerville Crossing Borders Group, made up of the Westerville Foundation, Westerville Education Challenge, Westerville Partners for Education, and the Westerville Parent Council, we were able to grant financial support for various students' projects that were inspired by their experience with the Columbus Crossing Borders art exhibit. Ms. Moidu's leadership, dedication, and commitment have touched the lives of so many Westerville students, and for this reason, she is truly a shining Westerville gem.
Our next district winner was proudly nominated by Leslie Walden, Angie Pittman, and Erica Cohen. The nomination started out with the sentence, Liz Washburn is not one to shy away from volunteer work, and this is truly an understatement. Liz is currently the president for Parent Council and is very actively involved in a number of other organizations, including those at her daughter's 2 schools and throughout the district. As it was aptly pointed out in her nomination, she is a collaborative problem solver who can ensure that parents' voices are heard strongly yet diplomatically. She's a strong advocate for the diversity and talent contained within this wonderful district and does everything she can to enhance this asset. As Parent Council President, she has undertaken a strong leadership role in helping both the various parent groups and WPC members navigate their way to provide the best for our students. Liz has served as a volunteer committee member of the Westerville City Schools Facilities Initiative, a member of the A+ Award Selection Committee, was on the planning committee of the highly successful Crossing Borders project, just to name a few. She has co-chaired the Emerson Talent Show and has been highly immersed in the activities at Blendon. She throws her heart and soul into everything that she takes on, always managing to find a slice of time in her busy days. Her nominators sum things up so well by stating that Liz is not a complainer, she's a doer, and an inspiration in her commitment to the children of this district. Way to shine, Liz. You give so much back to this district.
This year, we are honored to present the Terry Gordon Business Award to the Westerville Public Library. They were nominated by Amanda Anderson, who echoes what a lot of us feel. The library has been an active participant in so many district programs and school programs. Often, you can walk into the library and see some of our students' artwork showcased at the building. It is a safe and extremely friendly and warm place for us to all enjoy and expand our minds or simply reflect. They have been the host of many of our organization meetings, allowing the free use of their numerous conference rooms. In addition, many district tutors use the library to meet with students across the district. The building provides a quiet workspace for those tutors to interact with the students and provide them with the extra support that is needed. In addition to the quiet space available, the setup of the library is inviting to those working in small groups, fostering a fantastic collaboration of the mind on group projects and study groups. The library's valuable services are not just contained within the 4 walls of the building. Most schools in our district participate in the Library Link, a program in which students can actually order books from the library to be delivered directly to the student. This is especially helpful to those young children who do not have transportation to the library itself. Ms. Anderson speaks to an extension of the Library Link program. In March of 2018, the library staff started meeting with staff at Amherst to plan summer programs for Amherst students. Over the summer, the students can participate in thematic lessons, not only focusing on reading skills, but also incorporating with problem-solving skills and healthy coping skills with anxiety. We all know that there is a summer lapse in the skills for students in the library. The library is aggressively tackling that challenge to make sure that our students stay sharp. There are many other examples of just why the Westerville Public Library deserves our appreciation and this award. Suffice it to say The Westerville Public Library is a definite asset to our school system and helps to make it as wonderful as it is.
Can we give one more final applause for all of our winners tonight? A reminder to our award winners, please do come back up on the stage for a group photo at the conclusion of our ceremony. One of the things that always stands out while reviewing a list of past winners is just how many of those winners have gone on to nominate others who they believe are also GEM. Clearly, they believe in paying it forward. And tonight, I would like to challenge all of us to pay it forward next year by nominating that special someone you know to be a Westerville GEM. I do have a final round of thank yous to our hosts, Westerville North High School, and Principal Kurt Yancey for hosting us this evening. John Edwards, the head custodian here at Westerville North, and his fabulous facilities team. Gary Henkels from the Westerville City Schools Food Services Department. Jill Beck, the executive assistant to the superintendent, for making the PowerPoint and tonight so elegant. Lynn Mislowski, our community engagement coordinator and tonight's photographer. And the GEM student reader coordinator, Marilee Mueller. Also to the Westerville Parent Council Board, I couldn't do what I do without you. The District GEM Committee and Building GEM chairs, and many volunteers who worked hard to make this evening possible. There's one last special person who this evening definitely would not be possible, and that is our District GEM Chair and Coordinator, Tracy King. Thank you all so much for all that you've done. And for all of you here tonight, I hope I didn't disappoint you in my promise earlier, and I hope that you'll be leaving with your hearts very full tonight. You know, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Not everybody can be famous, but everybody can be great, because greatness is determined by service. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love." Thank you all for being here tonight to honor those who we feel are pretty great and shine like gems here in Westerville. With that, I do want to hand over the program back to President Davidson. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you one more time to all of our amazing GEM winners. We truly appreciate all that you do. And I also want to say thank you to Roush Honda. This really is a special event, and we feel blessed to have you as partner. The board will meet in regular session on Monday, May 6th and Monday, May 22nd for our retirement recognition at 6 p.m. at the Early Learning Center, and we would love to see all of you. And with that, may I have a motion to adjourn? Ms. Marshall.
Mr. Velardo? Yes. Dr. Nesterbaker? Mr. Bell? Yes. Mrs. Davidson?
Yes. We're adjourned, and thank you.